What if Earth had not one, but two suns lighting the sky? What would our planet look like? Could we even survive? Let's find out in today's episode of What If? Earth has a sun. It's a big, beautiful star that gives us light and warmth and makes life possible on our planet. But what if Earth had not one, but two suns? In this video, we're going to find out what would happen if Earth had two suns. How would our planet change? Could we still live on it? Well, let's find out. 1. Endless daylight. No night. The most obvious change would be no night. With two suns in the sky, there would be sunlight at all hours of the day. As you can imagine, cities would be in darkness no more. All around the globe, people would be able to see both suns in the sky at the same time, and the sight would be breathtaking. However, most of us would probably squint because the sun is really bright, and having two suns in the sky means double the brightness. Of course, we could get used to it. After all, people living near the equator already do. They get so much sunlight that they have developed melanin-rich skin to protect them from its harmful effects. For those of us who don't live near the equator, though, we would need some serious sunscreen if we were ever to venture outside. The plants around us would also need to adapt or die. Many plants rely on the darkness of night to grow. Without that darkness, these plants would simply burn up. Only those plants capable of surviving in the brightest conditions would be able to thrive. 2. Climate chaos. The oceans would boil. The average temperature of Earth's surface is about 15 degrees Celsius or 59 degrees Fahrenheit. That's thanks to the energy we receive from the sun. But if Earth had two suns, we would receive twice as much energy. The result would be higher temperatures all around the world. In fact, the average temperature on Earth would be around 30 degrees Celsius or 86 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's just an average. Some places would be much hotter than others, of course. But you can imagine how hot it would be in the parts of the world that are already hot now. The Sahara Desert, for example, receives an average of 11 hours of sunlight per day. If it had two suns, it would probably be too hot for humans to survive there. In fact, all of the water on Earth would start to evaporate. You know how when you heat water, it turns into steam? Well, the same thing would happen to the oceans. And I am sure you do want one to be around when that happens. Because all of that evaporated water would cause massive amounts of rain and storms. The ice caps would melt away. The Earth's climate would be in chaos. 3. Orbit and gravity problems. Earth would wobble. When Earth formed billions of years ago, it was pulled into orbit around the sun by its gravity. But what if Earth had two suns? There isn't a single star in the universe that has two planets in orbit. So, it's hard to say exactly what would happen. Scientists theorize that it would be really bad. According to NASA, two suns would mess up Earth's orbit. They would constantly be pulling the planet out of its path. This would make Earth's orbit unstable and dangerous. Eventually, one of the suns would either suck Earth into its fiery depths or knock it out of the solar system altogether. To visualize this, imagine a tug of war between two equally strong teams. The rope in the middle is Earth. At first, the rope stays put, but then one team pulls too hard and the rope snaps. That's what would happen to Earth's orbit. It would get ripped apart by the gravitational forces of two suns. 4. Life would struggle. Most species would go extinct. Most species on Earth would not be able to survive in the conditions that would result from having two suns. The heat would be too much for many animals. They would simply collapse and die. Some animals that live in cold climates would probably fare better, at least at first. But eventually, the heat would catch up with them, and they would die as well. All of the species that rely on photosynthesis would also die off. Plants, algae, and other photosynthetic organisms need darkness to survive. Without darkness, they would be unable to carry out photosynthesis and would eventually die. Only the most heat-resistant microbes would survive. These are the same types of microbes that can be found in places like hot springs and geysers. They're tough, resilient little creatures that are able to withstand extreme heat and radiation. For these microbes, Earth would become a paradise! They would be able to reproduce and thrive in conditions that would kill most other life forms. 5. Humans try to survive. We build underground cities. If Earth had 2 suns, we would need to find a way to protect ourselves from the extreme heat and radiation. One option would be to build underground cities. We could create massive shelters that would allow us to survive the harsh conditions above ground. Another option would be to develop advanced cooling technology. We would need to find a way to keep our homes and workplaces cool during the endless daylight hours. Otherwise, the heat would be unbearable. A third option would be to migrate to another planet. If we could find a planet that is habitable, we could start a new colony there. Of course, this would be easier said than done. Finding a planet that is suitable for human life would be extremely difficult. But it's not impossible. With enough effort, we could make it work. Some humans might choose to stay on Earth and try to survive the best way they can. This would be a risky move, but it could pay off. After all, some of the most resilient humans would likely survive the ordeal. And if we learn from our mistakes, we may be able to create a new way of life that is sustainable and enjoyable. 6. Closing impact. 2 suns might look beautiful in the sky, but for Earth, it would mean chaos, extinction, and a desperate fight for survival. The relentless heat, the scorching landscapes, the boiling oceans, and the struggle to find a habitable place to live would test the limits of human endurance. And while some might choose to leave Earth behind and seek refuge elsewhere, others would stand firm and face the challenges head-on. Either way, one thing is for certain, life on Earth would never be the same again. Well, that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more amazing videos. Let us know in the comments below what you think would be the biggest challenge of living on Earth with 2 suns. Would you try to build an underground city? Would you try to develop advanced cooling technology? Or would you try to migrate to another planet? Let us know in the comments below. Also, share this video with your friends and family and tell them what you learned. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.